Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. If you are someone who enjoys the pain and anguish of a new Dark Souls player, then you are in the right place because this is the story of how I got stuck in the catacombs for about 3 hours. No way, dude. Blood loss? No way, more like a life loss. Now to quantify, this is about my first-ish playthrough, meaning that many years ago, I did try to play Dark Souls and I got stuck at around Blighttown, put it down and never played again. I ended up playing Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 3 though, and beat those, but this is the Dark Souls that I never beat, so I decided I would come back to conquer that challenge. Now, the normal stuff was going fine in this run, right? We beat the Taurus Demon, hacked down some gargoyles, rang the first bell, dropped down on the Capra Demon, and then teamed up with Solaire to take down the Gaping Dragon. Heading down into Blighttown went fine too. We quickly made our way down, but this is where my knowledge of the game started to fade away. I made my way into Quelaag's domain, and after killing the first thing that I saw, as you do in Dark Souls, I immediately paid the price and died pretty quickly, and that kind of told me that this maybe wasn't the place I needed to go. This was one of my first mistakes of many more to come. So I decided to head back to the Firelink Shrine, where I talked to this piece of shit cleric over here, and he told me that the Fair Maiden was lost in the Catacombs, which made me feel like that was the next place to go, if that's where everyone was going. Again, my second mistake. So this is where we can get into the descent into the catacombs. So after making our way through the graveyard and down the ladder into the godforsaken place known as the Catacombs, we quickly learned that the skeletons here revive after you kill them, and the guys with fire in their eyes are actually the bane of your existence. But after opting to just run past all these guys, since they keep coming back to life, we ran around and pulled some levers. We found the first one pretty easily, and the second one as well. However, this is where the first critical error came into play. I did not find the third lever, which is going to be a huge problem later on, if anyone knows about getting trapped in the catacombs. The second error came when I spiraled all the way down into the depths and dropped down and found the skeleton named Vamos? Anyway, we found that guy who cracks a hole in the wall for you. I don't know if this was planned, but they put a bonfire behind you, and my dumbass rested there, which means I could no longer homeward bone back to any of the shrines above ground. And this was definitely the biggest critical error I probably made, and definitely shows I had no idea what I was doing. Getting to Vamos's lair actually happened pretty quickly, so at this point I still felt like I was going the right way. I was still going forward in the direction to save the maiden in the catacombs, so I had not yet realized the predicament that I was in. But if you are unfortunate enough, like myself, to be a connoisseur of the catacombs, then you know that outside Vamos's lair is the Room of Immeasurable Torment. There are two paths, one to the left and one to the right. But to get to either of them, you have to go through this big open space covered by these pieces of shit, these little spinning skeleton assholes who just destroy you. Doesn't matter if you're running left, doesn't matter if you're running right, they'll just crash into you and absolutely drain your HP. But after learning some of their patterns, and we are able to make it to the left, which is ironic because, well, you'll see at the end, or if you know what's going on. But we end up going left, and after dodging several enemies, we make our way to the very end to this fog wall, which we walk through, and this is where we realize that the bridge was turned the wrong way, so we were unable to continue going that way, which means I had to go all the way back. And of course, I did notice the broken wall in the room down below, but I had no idea that you could walk through it, so I ended up just ignoring that and going back to Vamos's lair, and then eventually making my way right. Going right leads you to Pinwheel. Going right leads you to Pinwheel's lair, and after a quick smack around, we end up getting the Mask of the Child. We continued forward to make our first entrance into the Tomb of the Catacombs, which I immediately homewarded bone back to Vamos. Thinking Tomb of the Giants was a bit too big for us at this moment, and starting to get the idea that I was not in the area I should be, we went back left to try to find a way out. I did finally smack my way through this broken wall, since it was the only other option to do, and it's actually pretty ironic. Here's a clip of this. If you guys are understanding what's going on, where I'm healing, it's actually pretty funny in the grand scheme of things. Basically, we run down there, realize again that I probably missed a lever of something, so that the only way forward was the Tomb of Giants, and we had to go deeper into the depths of hell. Our first trip into the Tomb of Giants actually went pretty well. I mean, our second trip wasn't so bad. I did find the bonfire. I didn't say I'd light it though. By the third turn, we did make it to the bonfire, which is great. Heading up the ladder, we got jump scared by Patches, and eventually he talks us into looking over this ledge where he pushes us down. Where finally, we do what we came here to do. We found the maiden. Great. But judging by how her friends reacted and their overwhelming power compared to ours, kind of showed me that, yeah, we were kind of in the wrong place. It's probably where we shouldn't be. We shouldn't be here. We should go quickly. But as I tried to run away from them, I ended up running right into the arms of this giant skeleton hug, which killed me quickly. Back at the bonfire, we head up again to see Patches, where I finally listen to the signs at his feet and give him a quick kick off the ledge, which he didn't enjoy. Once we end up dying and meeting him a third time, we get into this epic clash with ton of action. Great stuff. Yes. But at the end, we become victorious, and we are left again with two choices. We can either go left or right. Figuring the first time I went left back at Vamos' lair didn't go too well, then maybe right would be great this time. Of course it wasn't. I stumbled around in the dark, died many times, but I did find a large divine ember and a way back to the catacombs, which at this point I found useless because there was no way out that way. So I figured I had to keep going down. I returned back to the junction in the road and decided to go left past the cave where the fair maiden still called for help down below. But ignoring her calls and running right by the pit, we ended up stumbling on the silver covetous serpent ring, and then we ended up finding the second bonfire, which the fire safety skeletons didn't like. They said fire bad, and ended up killing me.
It's right there! I'm literally at the bonfire! You dirty bastards!
But with a little bit of hope that there was somewhere to go, we ran back to the bonfire, and we actually ended up lighting the bonfire, but that just pissed off the safety skeletons even more, and they made me pay dearly. But after a couple more attempts, we did end up resting finally at that bonfire and getting another checkpoint. A checkpoint even deeper into the hellhole that I will eventually have to crawl out of. So we're only digging ourselves into a deeper hole. But finally, we can rest. And after a quick death and from running around in the darkness, we do see...
We gotta be close to getting out of here. I feel like we're close.
Oh, there it is! The way out! The way out. A golden door. But seeing the gold fog, I really thought that it was a way out. And after a quick run back, we realized that we've actually been bamboozled by the Great Lord's power. And we've come down all this way, only to get absolutely blocked, and there's nowhere to go. So the only way now was to go back up. And not even the dark sign could save me. I checked. It does not take you to the Firelink Shrine. It's basically just useless at this point. So the only way out had to be back up. And boy, oh boy, were we very far from that. Getting back to the previous bonfire actually wasn't too bad. We made it there in one trip, and for the first time in this entire playthrough and this video, I checked the interwebs to get some help because I had no idea what I was doing, and I had a feeling I wasn't where I was supposed to be, and the interwebs confirmed that. But first, I decided to do a little bit of side heroics and save the maiden, you know, since I was here. So we head back down into the pit. We get a lucky kick on one of her hollowed friends and knock him off the cliff, which brings it down to a 1v1. We give him the old backstab special, and we save the maiden. Mission complete. After many tries of getting out of the tombs here, running through arrows and giant skeletons, we do actually end up making it past Pinwheel's lair and back to the catacombs. However, we have to face this spinning hellspawn again, which brings us to one of the most annoying parts of the ascent, is getting back to Vamos' lair, because you can get past all the giant skeletons pretty easily, but then these guys are a 50-50, and I eventually just end up methodically taking them down one by one, absolutely dismantling them, tearing them apart. There's nothing left of them. They're dead. They're gone. I never want to see them again. And after that, we make it to Vamos' lair. Woohoo! So, since I know I can't go right, I decide, well, the only way left is to go left. So we go back to the dead end, or what we thought was a dead end before, and we examine their living quarters a lot closer. Still, this didn't work out too well, and we return to the interwebs to get a more detailed way of how to get out. Unfortunately, this seemed to be a very rare problem of stupidity, where not many people get caught in this, because if you're heading down to the tombs of the giants, you're either ready to do that, or you know this game like the back of your hand, you know exactly how not to get caught in this. So my problem seemed to be very specific, and after a deep run into Reddit, I ended up finding, unfortunately, I don't remember the guy's name or the thread where I found it, and I don't want to credit anybody that I didn't see, but you can find a couple stories about it, but basically it came from a Reddit thread where the person was trying to get a weapon, the Great Scythe, and he ended up getting stuck just like I did. So it was actually more of a tutorial of getting the Great Scythe that I kind of had to put the pieces together on how to get back. But with this newfound knowledge, we end up heading back and finding this corridor that I had run past / healed in, which is why it was so funny at the start of the video why I healed here, because I literally healed in the corridor that I needed to find to exit. And then we ran back through and we found it again, and we could finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. we end up finding a way back to the bonfire that I had missed right next to the third switch, what I had also missed, and I get to push the switch. And since my knowledge came from a Great Scythe tutorial, I ended up going to pick up the Great Scythe, and I confirmed that my torture was in fact caused by my earlier miss of the third switch. But now that we are actually finally above ground, we get to do the final run back up to Firelink Shrine. This final leg only took a couple deaths and getting outplayed by a bit of Dusty Calcium. Ain't no way, dude. I just got clowned by the skeleton. But getting by all that, we finally do see the light, and we make it out to Firelink Shrine, which is fantastic. I could finally breathe. The last thing we do is we kill Petrus for his misguidance, because he sent me into hell, and I'm gonna punish him for it, because I died inside, and now he needs to die. He's finally gone. We go and hang out with the maiden that we saved for a little bit, and finally, we can rest. Well, that was my journey into the depths of hell. I hope you guys all enjoyed my nightmare tale of Dark Souls 1. If you guys want to see more, I am posting shorts of all of the bosses that I fought here on YouTube and I believe on TikTok. If you want to see more than that, I stream on Twitch, so you guys can follow me there. If you guys want to look at all of the videos, the VODs are on there for now. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Leave your comments down below on, I don't know, on how to be good at games.